Welcome to another episode of Living Life with CP. I am your host, Daniel Isler, and today I want to talk to you about cerebral palsy and the media. Cerebral palsy and the media. Or I guess a better title for this show would be disabled people in the media, but it's called Living Life with CP, so I will stick with that. You know, it's funny. There is a lot of us with CP who live in this world. But if you look at TV, books, and movies, you will not see that. There are hardly any books or movies or TV that have to deal with cerebral palsy, or have a person with cerebral palsy as a main character. Now, maybe it was just me, but as a kid, nothing more than to have a cartoon with someone like me in it. Either as one of the main characters, or I would have liked to have seen a movie with a person with cerebral palsy, or read a book. I would have liked to have seen something that had a disabled character in it, a person with CP in it, and they were a main character or a main side character. But growing up, I didn't see that. I want to say until early in the 2000s, when the TV show Pelswick came out. And I can't tell you how excited I was to see a cartoon with a disabled boy living his normal life. He was smart, he was intelligent, but unfortunately, that TV show did not last long because a lot of people did not watch it. I would love to see nothing more than, I just want to see the media, the TV, the movies, and the radio. The TV, the movies, and books reflect us more. I want to see them reflect us more because you know what? We are a part of this society. We are a part of this society, and we have been for decades. You would think because we are successful. Our people with CP and people with disabilities are successful, that the media would reflect them. Because we're lawyers, we're teachers, we're ministers, we're everything. We do every job that we possibly can, and you would think that the media would reflect that. But they don't. I gotta say, I asked last year, I believe it was, I went to physical therapy And I asked my physical therapist, was there any movies that starred, that had a disabled main character? And the next time I went to physical therapy, she came and handed me a sticky note with the name of the one movie she could find. And it's called My Left Foot. It's called My Left Foot, and it is about a boy with CP. Well, since I've been grown, I have found another way, and it is one of my favorites. It is called War Eagle Arkansas. And it is about a boy who has cerebral palsy and his best friend. And it is a great movie. But you know what? I find it sad that others than Pillsbury and those two movies, other than the cartoon Pillsbury and those two movies, we're not in the media anywhere. We're not in the media anywhere. I mean, sure, you might get the occasional news story that tugs on your heartstrings every once in a while, but we're not permanently featured in TV or in movies or in books. And I mean the kind of books that kids will want to read. There might be a few non-fiction books about people with CP, but what I've learned is, or what I've discovered is, is there are no fiction books about people with CP. Now, what kid do you know would want to read a fiction book? You know what? I know how I was as a kid. I didn't like to read. I still don't as an adult. So the thought of reading a non-fiction book, I do not find that at all appealing. What I find even more disturbing is I did some research. I did some research, and I was looking for actors with CP, and I couldn't find any. Now, as I've said, those of us with CP are in every walk of life. Why doesn't Hollywood reflect that? Why doesn't Hollywood reflect that? As a person with CP, or as a person with a disability, period, you are told as a kid that you can do whatever you put your mind to. You can do whatever you put your mind to. But you mean to tell me that no disabled kid, no kid with cerebral palsy has ever said, I want to be an actor, and went out there and done it? Like I said, we have become lawyers, we have become judges, we have become politicians. You mean to tell me that not one of us has said, you know what, I want to become an actor. You know, like I said, that's pathetic in my opinion because we're a big chunk of society. We're a big chunk of society. I got a question for everyone. You hear all about, and this is what upsets me. You hear about, now you see gay roles being featured in Hollywood. You see gay roles being featured in Hollywood. Films being made about homosexuality. The news talks about homosexuality issues. They said that gay marriage was a civil right. I got a question. Well, look, I got a question. Why is it that they can get all of this? They can get movies. They can get TV shows. They can get actors. They can get their situation talked about as a civil rights issue. But the country that passed the Americans with Disabilities Act, the country that signed the Americans with Disabilities Act, cannot give us that. Cannot give us that. Do we really have to stand up? Is the attention really given to the people who make the most noise? Because I've got to say this, and this may be politically incorrect. I, for one, think that you can choose to be homosexual. But I, for one, did not have a choice in whether I was born with cerebral palsy or not. So if there is anyone that should be able to say, hey, you know what, my plight, my cause should be taken up as a civil right, it is ours. But you know what? Nobody talks about ours because it's not a big issue to most people. It's not a big issue to most people, and you want to know why? Because we can live a normal life. Because we go on to live a normal life. But I'm going to say this. You may think that cerebral palsy does not affect you. And so it's not a big deal. But it affects, if it doesn't affect you directly, it affects someone that you know. Even it could be a friend of a friend, or a relative of a friend, or, you know, someone that you know casually. But no, think about it. These big causes get brought up in the media because they get a lot of attention. Okay, it's like March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, but you don't hear about it in the media because it doesn't bring a bunch of views. And that's just the way it is. That's the reality of the world that we live in. You hear about cancers and AIDS and, all this other stuff and HIV. You have celebrities talking about all these different causes because they can get money as publicity. But, nobody ever talks about CP. Nobody probably knows that Ashton Kutcher's brother, Michael Kutcher, went to Washington and asked for us to have